Down goes Frazier.
Hey, what's up with it, family? It's your boy Hot Boxing Minute. Get that round of applause going. Hit that like button. One more round of applause, man, for the awesome fights that we had tonight. This is going to be my quick little recap. I was feeling energized off the fights. Anyways, hit that like button. It's good for the algorithm. Hit follow if you haven't already done so. Anyways, Hot Boxing Minute, your favorite pharmaceutical engineer turned boxing analyst. We're here with the uncut realness. Salute to Devin the Dream Haney. Devin Dollars Haney with an awesome performance out there against Regis Prograis in the Chase Center just now. Devin Dollars Haney is everything that he said he was during the build-up to this fight. He didn't get the stoppage. But that was one of the most clinical, masterful, artful performances that I've seen all year. I think it was probably on par with what we saw with Teofimo and Josh Taylor earlier in the year. I think Josh Taylor had better spurts at moments against Teofimo. Regis Prograis, y'all, was thoroughly shut down against Devin Haney. And I don't think any of us really thought it was going to be that extreme. I think certain Devin Haney fanboys in their mind said, yo, it was going to be like that. But most critical boxing fans leading into this had known for years that Regis Prograis was arguably one of the top dudes, if not top two dudes, in the 140-pound weight division leading up into this fight. Regis Prograis was that guy. The only loss on his record was that close fight he had against Josh Taylor, of all people. And Regis had no answers from the very first round on. I mean, I gave Regis round one, and even then, that was debatable. When all was said and done at the end of 12 rounds, it was a clear, wide, unanimous decision win for Devin Haney. Devin Haney got all three judges' scorecards the same, 120 to 107, you guys. Like, you can't do nothing but tip your hat off to that, like, because that is just dominance.
I just want to celebrate.
And you already know the Bay Area is celebrating. You know Bill and Devin are celebrating. They're probably still in the middle of the post fights. Lord knows. I don't know. I had to turn off that fight immediately and switch over to what was going on in the ESPN broadcast and watch the replay of that. But that's a whole different thing. I'm going to talk about that fight too. But Devin Haney, with a spectacular performance, his range management, his distance management, his timing, his reflexes, his counter skills, his jab was popping, his 1-2 was popping. He was timing Regis Prograis all night. Does Devin Haney have knockout power? No. Does it look like he has improved punching power in 140 pounds? Oddly enough, yes. The general rule of thumb in boxing is if you weren't a puncher in a lower division, when you move up, you're not going to suddenly develop the ability to become a fighter. So, a fighter to become a puncher. Devin Haney, you know, he's not known for knocking people out. He hasn't knocked out anybody since 2019. So it's been quite a few years since we've seen Devin Haney knock someone out. Drink, hold on. But he was establishing his dominance athletically and physically against a smaller and older Regis Prograis from the onset. From first round onward, in the third round, he got a knockdown, a very clean knockdown over Regis Prograis, which added to the points, of course. That's a 10-8 round. Either way, Regis Prograis had zero answers. He was so shut down offensively. I didn't get the punch stats, but it was bad. Regis Prograis, you know, it's a learning lesson. I think Regis Prograis is still feasible in 140 pounds. I don't know if he'll win a title. I don't know if you want to stick Regis Prograis in there with a Subriel Matias. I don't think he beats a Teofimo Lopez. He could beat a Rolly Romero, but you already know the Mayweather Protection Program is not going to stick Rolly Romero in there with Regis Prograis. There just isn't enough money in that fight. But Devin Haney, oh my goodness, he looked spectacular in that fight. Devin Haney, the 140-pound division is suddenly like the most exciting division in boxing. Like I said, you got Subriel Matias, you got Teofimo Lopez, you got Ryan Garcia. I mean, Rolly Romero, we love Rolly Romero. He's not the most technically gifted of fighters, but he does have that pop, and he is humorous enough to sell a fight and make a fight build up interesting. I love the build up. The whole entire event was awesome. Devin Haney is an attraction, folks. Whether or not you guys want to admit that, or the haters or the critics want to admit it, is he a Tank Davis level of attraction? Clearly no. There are not a lot of acts in boxing, especially in this country, in the USA, that are an attraction like Tank Davis. Tank Davis is breaking gate records. He's selling pay-per-views. How many he sells, relatively speaking, we don't know. We won't know until his next one when he's not fighting someone named Ryan Garcia. They're not very impressive, but hey, you sell 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. That's impressive by my standards. Your negative Nancy boxing fans might think a little bit differently on that one. That's between them and their maker for being haters like that, because, it doesn't take much math to understand that 60, 70, 80 bucks times 100,000 is millions, no matter which way you look at it. Devin Haney sold out the Chase Center out there in Northern California in the first major fight that they've seen in San Francisco in like 20 years. If I recall correctly, the last time they had a huge packed arena in San Francisco was for a Mayweather fight in 2001. So it's been quite a few years since major big level boxing has sold out an arena and made a spectacular event out there in Northern California. Andre Ward might have sold out an arena. I need to go back and check. I didn't research it specifically. Devin Haney has shown he can sell an arena at home in San Francisco. I think if they use the same marketing strategy that they used to sell this fight, including awesome fight build-ups, great interviews, Devin Haney that can take that same frame and sell fights if he wants to do fights outside of the Bay Area where he's from, even though he's technically based out of Henderson, Nevada. But Devin Haney looked awesome. He looked unbeatable at 140 pounds. I want to see him against Teofimo Lopez or Subriel Matias. I'm also not against the idea of him moving up to 147 pounds to fight one-time Keith Thurman if he wants to become a 3-division champion. He can start there. Beat the guy that was once the man at 147 pounds, Keith Thurman. And love him or hate him, Keith Thurman's only loss to this day was against the all-time great Manny Pacquiao. So I like that matchup too. As long as I see these fighters in what I perceive to be high-level, entertaining, competitive matchups, you won't get a lot of complaints out of me, folks. I don't nitpick. I'm not going to be mad if he decides he doesn't want to fight Subriel Matias because Subriel Matias isn't large enough in profile, even though I think he is. Like, I want to see Subriel Matias fight all of them personally, but I understand the business side of marketing to understand that not a lot of people know who Subriel Matias is outside of maybe his township in Puerto Rico, in Fajardo. Like, that's the reality of the situation. Big names like Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney, that could be a big fight. Ryan Garcia recently took to Twitter, and Ryan Garcia called out Devin Haney. He said, I would love to fight Devin Haney in 2024. Maybe that's a possible fight. Oscar De La Hoya tweeted after Devin Haney's win that he would love to set up a fight between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. That, of course, has a narrative already built in. They've been competing against each other since they were kids, since they were amateurs and national standouts. If I'm not mistaken, their record against each other competing in the amateurs is even. You can build a storyline on that. They grew up together. Use that to build a pay-per-view event. Sell another 1 million units easy because Ryan Garcia is clearly a ticket-selling machine. So is Devin Haney. You can use that to sell some pay-per-views. So salute out to Devin Haney boxing community. What did you think about Devin Haney's performance against Regis Prograis? And what do you think is the next path, the next opponent for Devin the Dream Haney? Let me know in the comments section, y'all. Let's chop this one up. Hit that like button. Gotta remind you one more time. And I just wanted to pivot really quick over to that fight card out there in Florida, that top-ranked fight card that was headlined by Robeisy Ramirez versus Rafael Espinoza. If you caught my last YouTube video, it was only watched by like 40-something people. I did a breakdown of that fight. And Rafael Espinoza, congratulations to him, is the new WBO featherweight champion in arguably what is a likely candidate for fight of the year. Now, going into this fight, my fight of the year leading up to this fight so far for 2023 was that fight between Luis Nery and Crazy AZ Hovhannissian. If you haven't seen that fight, I don't know if there's clips on it on YouTube, but that was an awesome fight. A back and forth war the entire time. This fight was just like that. Rafa Espinoza, a 6'1" featherweight trained by Manny Robles, has only had 3 fights in the States, comes in an 11-1 underdog against the 2-time Olympic gold medalist, Robeisy Ramirez, the WBO champion, Robeisy Ramirez. The Robeisy Ramirez, the one that beat Shakur Stevenson in the amateurs to win the Olympic gold, that Robeisy Ramirez. He beat Robeisy Ramirez, folks, It was a back and forth war. It included Espinoza getting knocked down. I think it was the 5th round or so. He got up and beat the 10 count. And they're pretty much slugging it. The momentum was swaying back and forth throughout the duration of all 12 rounds of that fight. And then in the closing minute of that 12th round, Espinoza gets a knockdown of Robeisy Ramirez, essentially sealing the deal. Now, the cards, as they were read, let me see if I can pull it out right here. It was, the 3 cards were 115-111 by Steve Weisfeld, 114-112 by Benoit Roussel, and Efren LeBron, 113-113 draw. That was controversial. Either way, 2 cards in favor of Rafael Espinoza, making him the WBO featherweight champion. He's going to be a problem. He's 6'1". He's gritty as all hell, and he's got pop. For all intensive measurements, he's a knockout artist. Out of his 22 wins, 18 of them have been by way of knockout. Now, here's the fun part about Rafa Espinoza. He was relatively unheralded, but I did make time to do a little bit of a video breakdown in my previous video. You can go back there and check that one out. I'm friends with Oscar Valdez, y'all. I know Oscar Valdez, and he was trained by Manny Robles. Manny Robles is Rafa Espinoza's trainer. If you follow me on Twitter, y'all, I recommend you do. If you're not already following me on Twitter, you'll get a chance to see how my mind works because I'm very active all day long on Twitter. And I use late breaking news and the stuff I'm involved in to break down how to compose the content I make on YouTube and TikTok specifically. This morning, I was doing a photography shoot for my young bull, Jose Cholet. Shout out to my guy, Jose Cholet. He is a young, undefeated prospect coming up in the ranks based out of my gym in San Diego. Jose Cholet will be fighting in the opening card for Showtime Boxing's last fight card on December 16th out there in Minneapolis. That will be the David Morrell versus Sena Agbeko card. So my little young bull, Jose Cholet, was sparring this morning, and he was sparring Gennaro Gamez, former amateur standout, 140-pounder. Gennaro Gamez is nice, you guys. And this was in Andy Ruiz's gym out here in San Diego. Andy Ruiz was also a fighter who used to be trained by Manny Robles. Manny Robles was in Andy Ruiz's corner when Andy Ruiz won that world championship against Anthony Joshua. So in addition to that, if you follow me on TikTok, I've told the story about how I was getting sauced in a bar in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico with Manny Robles. So I know the connection between Manny Robles, Rafa Espinoza, and the thing about Rafa Espinoza is he trains out of his house. He got a gym built on the bottom floor of his house where he lives in Guadalajara. And for camp, he had brought Manny Robles over, Jesse Magdaleno, Oscar Valdez, and a few other fighters, and they camped out there for a period of time in Rafa Espinoza's house. But I knew who Rafa Espinoza was coming to this fight. I knew he was mega dangerous. And hats off to Rafa Espinoza, the new WBO featherweight champion, in a fun fight. That fight was vicious and might likely be a fight of the year because the Crazy A, the Azat Hovhannissian fight with Luis Neri, that wasn't a championship fight. This was. So this might have been the one to get fight of the year for 2023 unless somehow the next couple of weekends produces an opus, which I don't think they will. So, yeah, the other 2 champions in that division as it stands are Rey Vargas and Venado Lopez. And if I'm not mistaken, they've got a vacant title fight coming up. Do I have it open? I don't know. The other, I don't know what Otabek's last name is, but he's a Russian or Eastern European guy. He's going to be fighting Ray Ford for that vacated belt, the 3rd belt. So you got 2 other Mexicans, Rey Vargas, Venado Lopez, vacant belt that's going to be fought for by Otabek and Ray Ford, and the new addition to the group, Rafa Espinoza. Let me know how you think Rafa Espinoza does against those other champions in the division in the comment section. Hit that like button, y'all. Anyways, I just want to do a quick video about what it was I saw tonight. Of course, you know, there was a bunch of undercard fights. Xander Zayas beat Jorge Fortilla by KO in the 5th round. We saw that coming. Bruce Carrington had a spectacular 2nd round TKO against Jason Sanchez. Jahi Tucker got a draw against Francisco Veron. That's like his 3rd really, really difficult matchup fight. I don't know why Top Rank is pairing Jahi Tucker up so hard, but giving Xander Zayas relative gimme fights. Excuse me. I'm hoping they give Xander Zayas someone like Patrick Teixeira, the former 154 champion, as his next fight, because It's not right that they're pairing up Jahi Tucker with these tough fights, but giving Xander Zayas kind of pick-me fights when Jahi Tucker has been calling out Xander Zayas, and I think that fight is compelling. Anyways, just my 2 cents on that one. Rohan Polanco, a former Olympian, got the TKO stoppage over Keith Hunter. Tiger Johnson had a tough fight with Jimmer Espinoza, 12-round split decision. Richard Torres, Anyways, you know how Top Rank does. Great vetting program. They build their fighters accordingly. Anyways, hit that like button if you haven't already done so, y'all. I'm going to end that video with that. This is Hot Boxing Minute, the future of boxing analysis on YouTube and TikTok, y'all. Until next time, peace.